Hi, everyone. Welcome to the most recent and current We All Feel Like It reading. My name is Michelle Taransky, and I am your host. Really excited to be hosting this gathering of Kelly Writers House affiliated poets. This reading happens 12 years after the first We All Feel Like It reading. And I'm really excited to welcome these poets who range from freshmen to seniors, and can really show you the wide range of poets and peoples we have here at Penn and at Kelly Writers House. I'm going to introduce everybody, and then after each reader, let you know the next reader. If you're not signed up for Kelly Writers House emails, now's not the time, but after the event, please visit our website and sign up. There are so many amazing events every day, lots of archived events. You won't want to miss them. So without further ado, we have 5 poets here for you tonight: Rema Hort, Farah Sayed, Andrés González-Bonillas, Emma Proveda, and Sophia DuRose, in that order. So our first reader is Rema Hort.
Hi, I am Rema, and this is a poem for a bleak urban space. Cronus considered me, looked me eye to eye in the mirror, and whispered sweet nothings. Kind words, gentle and ephemeral kind of words, words not heard, whispers that reflect backwards in concrete mirrors and hide in green lamplight. Whoops, red. Days of anticipation, anxiety, and impatience. I wait, waiting, wandering. What are you up to? A note to purple, obsession near barefoot intoxication with crossword corruption brazen. Let me, I'd like to think, me, myself, I'm mistaken. I'd like to think of gentle and ephemeral kind of words, back of book blurbs, megaphone whispers on campaigns for more trances. I bike backwards and ram into a trolley or two. I apologize and then convince myself that I was wronged. Wronged in biking backward, wronged in ramming, wronged by a trolley or two. I was cheated and dishonored. I was rammed, no more chances, no more disco. Cronus asked me to come home, and I, of course, oblige. Home is heat and hope and traffic, but no bike accidents, only bike on purposes. At home, there is no fire, no broken poles, no bed bugs, no black mold, but there is a fire. You gotta stop, drop, and roll, baby. Myth-making fire engine red on burnt umber bricks, baby. I cannot offer the explanation you deserve. I cannot sit in silence, soaking in the bathtub of meaning and pick out a bubble and offer it to you, popping poppers. I pinky promise I would not do this to you intentionally. I had no intention, I had no nothings, no me, no space. I can only remember what I was immediately thinking about. People in the next room, how I look, where I am I? Red tile floors that turn green, then yellow, then red again. If I don't weigh myself down, I might float away. I sit on my hands and my knees and I pressure them, I blanket them, I kidnap my extremities so they will not leave. My mind is and was full of traffic, tales of absolute us, of red you, of blue me, all autobiographic, and while tranquility is overrated, glamorized and mistaken, destiny not explicitly stated. But wait, I can't help but notice you're frustrated. You, blue, were wronged. Elated, I will rhyme you a poem that feels like a song, but only in certain parts. Some parts, a knee or a finger, but not all the parts. So think of me sometimes. Think of how I could and would ignore your traffic signs. They're suggestive, only suggestive. Look at me in my concrete mirrors and whisper the traffic to me. Where is it that we are? How far is too far? How many stops till one of us drops? Hey, everyone. Hello, this is a public service announcement. Be good to yourself. Sleep rigorously. Shit's crazy out there. Out there in the bike accidents and the autobiographic nonsense, tranquility, all sense. I like to think I'm mistaken. I like to think we're all mistaken. We were all wronged. All the accidents and the whoops, it's red again. I spot a bed bug, a window cracked and against interpretation, making a bookshelf out of an empty shelf, a half-person's self. And now it's gray. Cronus, I pronounce you, the gray area. I gave you life and utter hysteria, a burial of sorts, but no lamentation. Is all the gray area one color, one kind of gray, a universal gray, or are there variations? A light, fresh concrete gray, a brutalist modern building gray. Good night to the subway rat, good night, good night. Cronus, you are a certain fate. Wait and whoops, but no escape. A long time ago, you thought, we blue fought, now we blue know. Don't try and run, there's no time to run. We have the red light, we must bike. Is it too far? How far is too far? Make me a maybe, you little lovely lady, you pre-Hellenic Saturn. You ask for ice with your water, and formlessness is freedom. Time is fast, can't think, no nothings, no me, no space. I pause. I, the speaker, stop speaking. When I pause, I am no longer the speaker. I am a listener. I am a reader. I am you. I observe the silence. I bask in it. I listen to the silence, the presence of absence, the spaces on the page and in the air. I wait for words again, but in the pause, I'm anything and anyone, and I'll speak again. And I'm not saying anything and anyone. I am once again the speaker. To be the mirrored concrete and the public service announcement, to be the subway rat in the brutalist modern building gray, the ash-ridden wreckage, be the wronged and on purpose, be good to yourself, talk to yourself when you walk home at night. It's normal. Do it. Insist upon mispronouncing common names. Common names, yes, common names. All names, no matter the name, should be mispronounced. It's freedom from language, my dear. I waiting, wondering, what are you up to? Good night, Cronus, good night. Sleep tight, bed bugs, etc. Now I'm gonna read a poem for George. A, about adults all, always am at Andrew, are articulate, be beautiful, become between, brownies, chocolate, dark emphasized fondly for, forward from George, getting grateful, great. Have he? Hear him, home Horts, how hugs I indeed. Infused, intelligent, Jersey kind, how lag, look love, loved. Memories mine missed, much more my, of only one person, please. Rema remembering, returning, saddened, sadly sure, so special, think that there. This time to visit, was watching, we weren't, will with, wonderful, you, young, your. And finally, I'm gonna read a poem about George. A, about adults all, always, am, and are, articulate, be beautiful, become between, brownies, chocolate, dark, emphasize fondly for, forward, from getting grateful, great. Have he, hear him, home, how hugs, I indeed, infused, intelligent, Jersey kind, no lag, look, love, loved, memories mine, missed more, much my, of one only person, please, remembering, returning, saddened, sadly, sure, so special, think that the there, this time to visit, was watching, weren't, will, with wonderful you, your. And that's it.
Thank you, Rema Hort. Our next reader is Farah Sayed.
Hi everyone. This first piece is called The Spider Plant. I'm absolutely terrible at taking care of plants. I cannot remember a time where I've kept something alive for more than 2 weeks, even succulents. They're lauded for being the easiest to maintain because of their infrequent desire for water. They have developed evolutionary adaptations, including a waxy cuticle and a thick stem that allow them to survive in dry, arid environments. They should be able to thrive under neglect, but somehow I managed to fail anyway. I'm given a spider plant by a friend because they too are supposedly easy to care for. It is intended to be a learning experience to correct my murderous tendencies. Eager to pursue this opportunity, I conduct extensive research on the horticultural aspects of spider plants. They're able to grow under a wide range of conditions in temperatures ranging from 50 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Ideally, they should be placed under indirect sunlight and their soil should be evenly moist. Any combination of factors that results in an extremely dry or excessively humid environment will cause the leaves to brown. I take note of these wisdoms, hoping to develop an informed care routine. The spider plant's leaves are perky and chartreuse, cascading from the pot. They seem content for the moment, bouncing lightly when a breeze comes its way, and placed strategically near the kitchen window to absorb the radiance of the sun. But a few days in, the tips of the leaves begin to brown and shrivel. I can't remember when I watered the plant last. Perhaps it was too long ago, so I lightly sprinkle the pot. The next day, the soil feels dry despite having watered it just yesterday. I read somewhere that watering spider plants with tap water can sometimes contribute to dead leaves. It has something to do with the buildup of chemicals and salts. So I decide to buy distilled water to avoid this issue. Yet, day by day, as my questionable caretaking continues, brown stains slowly creep up the leaves, spreading death as they progress. The spider plant is now tinted yellow, failing to show any signs of youth. There's nothing that I can do to stop its natural decay. There's nothing I can do to reverse this inevitable course, which I perhaps have known since the beginning. This next piece is called Dandelions. I'm on my way home from school, stopped in the leftmost lane on East 55th. The left turn arrow may be green, but this train of cars will never budge, already cutting through the center of the intersection. Even if the guy behind us thinks he can will himself through the densely packed line, obsessively honking at us isn't going to get him anywhere. And there's really no control over those audacious individuals who find it necessary to squeeze into this lane at the last minute, as if they have the right to steal the spot we've been waiting for since 17 minutes ago. This scene recurs every Tuesday afternoon where Woodland and East 55th meet, where the boarded up sushi place, the MLK branch of the Cleveland Public Library, and the cash-only gas station reside. At this moment, I am always drawn to a single element in my surroundings. Among the abandoned buildings, rusted street signs, and fractured sidewalk, there is an isolated patch of grass. Perhaps a building was previously constructed in that location, but the piece of land is now overgrown with dandelions. People like to think of them as weeds, ready to be eradicated, ejected from their homes, but they don't understand. They're magical balloons, bobbing lightly in the breeze, dancing in the golden light of the almost setting sun. Their fluffy tufts form perfect spheres, yearning to be blown out while someone makes a wish. Even if they reach their end, they will inevitably sprout again, first as mustard blooms and once more as tiny clouds, dreamy creatures of the urban sprawl. I always wonder if anyone else in this lengthy stream of cars realizes how lucky they are to observe such a treasure. If not, they are truly at a loss because this patch will soon vanish and some new fast food joint will be built in its place. A habitable environment will be stripped away from the dandelion population and they will likely never return to this region of woodland ever again. The only artifact that will remain is the haiku I record in my poetry journal. If we kill the weeds, how are we to make wishes on dandelions? That unnameable feeling. I have no name for looking out that window, seeing foliage saturate the limbs of the age-old maples. They've been there forever, haven't they? They've cycled through winters and summers, autumns and springs, regenerating each year undoubtedly. I don't know what this feeling is, when the world is supposedly destined for chaos, that some horrific tragedy has plagued us all, and all I notice are the leaves glued to their branches. The trees remain rooted in the earth, and the painted moldings on the windows, cracked with age, frame the view outside. Nothing has changed as I stare out the second floor, pressing my elbows into the grain of the Harkness table. Bronte would know exactly what to make of the scene outside. If we were Jane right now, the sky would be pouring out a rainstorm. It would be squealing its heart out, throwing a tantrum against fate. The trees would be barren and empty, frozen in the cold, not glowing with technicolored leaves in the late autumn sun. She would never paint the sky this unusually blue, this unusually clear, so beautifully radiant. But we cannot deny that we are here. We have arrived at what seems like a rainstorm, a natural disaster. No matter how much it feels like everything is the same, that we are here with our composition notebooks, our beloved Jane, our backpacks at the Harkness table, we cannot avoid reality. We must stop staring out the windows of our castle, observing the color of the leaves outside, and we must come to terms with the fact that the sky may not always look this brilliantly blue. Thanks so much.
I guess you can hear me snapping or clapping because I unmuted myself. Thank you so much, Farah. Our next poet is Andrés González-Bonillas. So thank you, Andrés.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this piece called After Goodbye, Robin. I once read a story about a mountain and the ray of sun that gave him back his heart, because what is love without warmth and light? And those things no longer hidden in shadows of our mind, and the mountain finds them again. Before he was mountain, before he touched sky and teardrops fell like bubbles on the sunny days, and it was the sun that taught the mountain to love and to be loved. Because what are stars without analogy? Without that urge to reach out, put one in your pocket for your love like lilies, and the mountain leads us back down. And I say, I will pick the cosmos for you. Give you comets like diamonds and nebula like gold, and I will see where galaxies end so I can make it yours because you love like the sun. And perhaps I am the mountain. And I touch the sky so I can at least be seen by you, to bask in that love, that radiance, that forever type shit. And maybe the sun doesn't shine today. Or maybe it just found something else. This next piece is called Rivers. Some of these pieces are kind of unfinished, but you know what? It's a good time. We're all gonna have a good time. This one's called Rivers. My mother would say rage is what rivers through my body, and I never understood what waves crashed in my eyes for her to see the horizon in them, and maybe I never will. My father would say quiet rivers through my body, and all he saw was the eye of a hurricane, and he never dared to look out into the depths, and maybe he never will. I say, the rivers of my body pump many things, like rage and like quiet, and like none of those things. My rivers contain those past to souls unbounded by words, much less colonial vocabulary, and I don't know what rivers looked like before my birth. But my nana told me stories about the one that ran through the pueblo, and she said that she was that little girl again. And I was her baby brother whose name translated to loved. And I used to say rivers were love notes between the land and the sky. And the comments were how the sky wrote back to her love, and we marvel at them and play in those earthly confessions. Her rivers and mine are not so different. There is rage and there is quiet, and there is blood and there is music in these vessels, and they move like we move. The rivers in this body drift like eyelids, and the rageful, quiet boy can rest in them. This next one is one of two pieces that was published so I'm a member of the Exolano Project, shouts out spoken word group here at Penn. We put out an e-zine, and this is one of the pieces that I had in there. I don't mind the crickets in my bathroom because they remind me that I'm alive and that the world wants to see me too. 10 toes to the tile, and I got a symphony next to the bathtub featuring a lover's serenade like concert halls. There is love in this home, and it helps me go to sleep sometimes. And when the AC turns off at 2 a.m., there is no silence in this mind, and I'm okay with that. Y los grillos cantan a la luna y dicen amor, amor, como te extraño y como te quiero. And maybe we have something to learn about love from crickets. I want to love out loud. I want to love under the same moonlight we have sung to, and is this paradise? When the wind tells us her song and the crickets know the words like repetition, like heartbeats fast with no sign of stopping, I wouldn't mind that at all. And I just want to tell you that the crickets sing corridos to you, or at least I think they do. And maybe that is enough. That this world gives us beauty and we make it ours, if only for a moment, if only for 3 minutes of the mariachi cantando la luna. And then we are not so different from crickets. And I'm okay with that. I think crickets bring our dreams down to our eyes. And do you ever dream of me too? Los corridos de los grillos me dicen que el amor no viene en silencio y no viene sin música del corazón. And the crickets tell me love will be with you when your feet are cold and when your dreams do not want to come down. And love tells me that dreams sing like the crickets do. And tonight, that's all that matters. This next one's called Lines, after David Tomas Martinez. I write lines out of absence, out of an empty ear and the sound of mouthing the words, I love you. I whisper the line in the mirror, wait for it to say it back. My eyes red and puffy like traffic lights telling my words to stop. They don't, and I don't. I continue to love lies and lines all the same. These nights I beautify the hurt, break it into something like harmony so it does harm to me no more, but these tears rarely give way to the flood of goodwill, or is it will at all? I write lines out of empty thoughts and the sleepless nights of my 20th winter. That stillness that comes with city lights and untied shoes on my feet, lines on my hands, mark the ones I've held in them before. But what does it mean to hold myself if I am overflowing and my hands, their lines grow no larger? There is no violence in these lines, but that is not what I was scared of. The lines I've rehearsed in the part of Perfect Sun have not prepared me for the lines that come out now, and maybe that is what I'm scared of. I do not realize the gravity of lines until I say them out loud a month later, when I thought it was all a memory and nothing more. I bring myself to write those lines, the ones that come from realization, from the lying mouth of that perfect son. I think he died. I'm not sure if it was my lines that killed him or if it was the repetition. So this one, this one's called After J.M. Coetzee and every white author that writes about colonialism like an experiment in metaphysics or subjectivity or whatever the fuck. All right. The white man always seems to find a way to kill us in the end. And we may be his thought experiment, his morality clause, his test of courage and ethics, and he asks that we not kill him for it. He asks that we thank him for our cell in his mind, that we are even allowed a seat chained to the table. Yeah, I say fuck that. Let the colonizer die. Let him drown in his ineptitudes, choke on his savior, and may God spit him back out. Let him die by his own hand, or better yet, let him die by mine. Let him see the glory of revolution through the blinded eyes of our crucified and our burned, and the pig and the colonizer are the same motherfucker. And some of them like to write books, and some of them like to burn them, and some of them like to burn us, and some of them like to write books where they burn us, and some of them win a fucking Nobel for it. And they close the book and the experiment is done. He was a good white man today because he only wrote about the killing. He didn't do it in real life. And they call it colonial madness. That affliction that kills 9 out of 10, and the 10th is the colonizer with a book and a pen, and he becomes ruler once again. All right, this one's called, I got two more. Hold on with me. This one's called Molacho. I scream and I laugh like little brown boys do, and I drink Gatorade like life elixir, like the bottle holds all my cheeks could ever desire. And why is that? That summer oranges become naranjas from my nana's table and seeds pop out the gap of my teeth. I want to remember the sweetness of youth and the light up shoes with nowhere to go but down. And I taste the metal from the water hose, and there is joy in this body and there is no pain in the next. Me and my friends play war and go running through the canyon behind Augie's house. We play basketball in the neighbor's yard, and the street lights make our voices carry into nothing but what we make it. My tongue is burned on sopita and my finger is jammed. And that is the only pain I want to remember. When my nana got me the ice cubes and my tata laughs as I run from fences to a zocalo where los músicos lull me to sleep. And I'm sure there is more to these stories. But the gap in my teeth is filled now, and my tata watches from somewhere else. And the finger jams are not the only pains I recount, and forgiveness has closed. What are those small joys we used to find in clover fields? When sana sana was magic from my sister's hands and we never stopped healing each other. All right, so this is my last one. Thank you all for sticking with me. This one's called A Decolonial Ballad in Key. It's an excerpt from a play that I wrote called The Ballad of Lalo Ortega. Where's the key that opens my eyes to see the future where shit don't hurt no more? Car keys offer some escape into those mountains and those black veins of America, that country that should not be a country. We go by the ribbons in her belly, and it is the belly of the beast. And the high beams show us the hell she's created in her hunger, but I see the stars above. Where is the key that opens constellations like my ancestors did? But I go on this highway to find myself in those stars, and shit, I might cry. Where is the key that opens, and maybe God is like the key maker, old and knowing, and he dies at the end of the movie, and the feds killed him for the key that opens the door to doors, but which door should I go through? 12 doesn't care about keys or doors, and the one in my head is getting locked the fuck out. If he dies, I die, but in the good way. Where is the key that, man, fuck the keys? Why is there a fucking door? We don't have keys and we never will, so my eyes open to see the future where we're flying. And the black ribbons are brown and gray and blue and green again, and the constellations came down and killed America. And we are what's left, and what always has been beautiful, free, something like treasure, and we adorn ourselves with keys that don't open shit because no one is locked up and no one is scared. My eyes are open on stargates, and heaven and hell are gone, and kids in the Bronx fight white people like vampires. This holy water blessed by brujeria and curanderismo, these padlocks are split like earthquakes, and like Jose said, there are no white people in heaven. Heaven was a locked gate, and the key died when God did. In actuality, I never really needed heaven. Just my nana telling me que la Virgen me cuide every time she leaves. And they watch over me like America never has, like God never has. White people swear they are God incarnate, but all they do is make the keys and the doors and the gates and the walls and the ships and the fences, y así me valen verga. The stars are not named after white people anyways. And America did not survive the end of this movie. And the asteroids sing, and I cry from them. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Andres. Our next poet is Emma Proveda.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emma. I have to sneeze, so we're gonna see when that comes out. Could be in the middle of this piece. I don't know. Sorry. On that note, I should begin. Okay. This piece is called The Big, Big Dark. Okay. The big, big dark. Out here in this land, in this place above bushels of fruitless trees and irregular heartbeats, there is you. There is you carrying around a big book and thinking of a name you can't say out loud. In this land, you'll waste your parents' money, get a root canal, make something of yourself, and doze off on a futon, too anemic to support your intersection on the body mass index. In this land, you'll realize that I am an X and you are a Y, and that a year means something we can't see. I don't know if you think about the date like how I think about the date, but I think about the lake, sinking our knees and moving our tassels to the right or left, or whichever way they go, and I am told that there are fewer reasons to call out for you or land upon your face anymore. So you'll try to map the signs of aging, send semi-nude self-portraits to Father Kronos, look for the elusive juice that stains toilet bowls and calls you names under its polypeptide breath. Yes, the half-lived heat and capsized thumbnails. Yes, Atlantis or something vestigial like a tailbone. No, I don't think our mothers tell us the same things. No, I don't wonder about you. I wonder about what you are doing and who you are talking to. I wonder if you think about me not thinking about you and who you are doing and what you are talking to, and if you would so kindly go get me a napkin. You'll cure a fever, sink your face in bath water, place your finger in one of the holes on bus stop benches, get it stuck, and hope no one sees the pain that you wear like a skirt. You'll haunt the house with a hand under your shirt, a hand in your pants, while you assemble a bird feeder, wipe detritus from windowsills, conjure pediatrician referrals, and gentlemen's clubs, and new categories of new anythings, and more intersections until you end up in a labyrinth, licking your arms and trapping a body between your thighs. I got so red. Wait, I'm not done also with the poem. Haha. Trapping a body between your thighs. Yes, out here in this big, big, dark land, you'll sound smart, sex many, rule a city. You'll fall asleep in a chaise lounge and wake up in a graph. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Emma. That, everyone who's not done a poetry reading but wants to, that was Emma's first reading, and that's how you do it. You do it even though you're going to sneeze. You might sneeze. Thank you, Emma. And thanks to the rest of our readers for providing an occasion for a poet like Emma to have her first reading. We're poets here. All right, our final reader is Sophia DuRose. Sophia's going to close out the night. But remember now, not now, but after, you're going to probably sign up for Writers House emails, hear about the marathon reading, hear about all the amazing poetry events happening. But now we're going to listen to Sophia close out the We All Feel Like It, all the feelings, all the tears that we're not going to cry, all of it.
Well, first I want to thank all the other readers who participated tonight, because that was super awesome. I was in the chat tonight just like, this is great. So thank you everyone who read before me, and thank you everyone who's joining us tonight. I'll actually be reading a bit from my work in progress thesis, which is an interrogation of disparities in access due to class at the intersection of humor, identity, and meme culture. So I hope everyone enjoys. This this first piece is entitled Cucks. So, Cucks. A man on the street tells me I have lips only a woman could love. Luxury of getting worked up over nothing, less than nothing. Blame is a heavy practice that weighs unevenly, that prays and prays and pays. A man at the corner store asks me where I got my bruises. Give me his address. The cocky presumption that I both need saving and am damaged by someone else. Every man's guiltless desire to steal a breaking woman from a smaller man. An ex-boyfriend texts me on New Year's Eve. Wish I was with you. Yeah, well, I wish you weren't a narcissist. A man honks at me as I cross an intersection. You be careful on these streets. I picture hundreds of marble busts rising from the gutters, large and uncracked, draped and drapeless, shape and shapeless, circling me into something that can fit down the drain. A man barges into a nail salon and asks, "Can you finger someone with nail polish on?" Years of bullshit accumulate around his cuticles. A man is shot outside my window for an eighth and a milkshake. A man pretends to be my man when I don't know I'm being followed. A man, a man, a man, a man, man, am I bored of many things, emphatically and conclusively defeated, manipulating my own sense of self to make sense in a man's humanity, in a manufactured language where woman looks like this, where woman's hips are more hypnotic than woman's tongue, where womanizer is a more common word than womanly. I've started to romanticize my many's and get positively wasted off the Google results for synonym for man compared to the Google results for synonym for woman. This next piece is called Yes, I Am Financially Literate, which I'm not. Yes, I am financially literate. I can read the 5 on the bill in your hand. Agamemnon is basically an incel, and Kronos gave everyone daddy issues. No song is sad, said Gertrude Stein. My class was enraged to learn that the same companies that designed dorm rooms also designed jail cells. Enraged as if we were deceived, promised better, as if we deserve better because we read in old libraries and spend our money on drugs. Oh, wait. A jailbird sings a sad song. Proleptic proto-justification to suffer and smile while suffering. We have all existed before. We cannot wait to see our failures filleted and bony on the big screen, juicy with horror. A hot woman with bouncy hair will replace all us average women with curly hair, and we won't mind because that's how history will remember us, with tits up to our chins. Cannibalism is a horror of epic unnecessity. A one-eyed cyclops holding a toy gun is monstrified for the toy in America, not ancient Greece. I would want to choke on the siren song too, but I would have probably choked on blood-stained air hanged outside the great city sacker's castle because I am poor and probably always have been. Crying sisters swinging, because we have always liked, to fuck. Girl boss, her story caters to the gender norm of kicking someone off your hips only to turn over and moan. The past tense of hurt is hurt. Grief was born a preemie. The desire to plunder existed before weapons. That is why weapons exist. User-generated content. Use her generously. Rated.com. Repent. Algorithm is not neutral. All girl items for sale is not new to her. Data failures don't exist. Date her, mail yours, don't trust his. A search engine is engineering something, no? Is a machine? Is man-made? Is plotting? Is plundering? This next piece is called Paramagnetic Poltergeist. I am always already compromised by the paramagnetic poltergeist of the plutocrats. Like how all around me are reminders that I can see ghosts, which means I have no reason to be suddenly reminded. I am within the gallbladder of the beast, collecting bile, which I will use to egg its intestines. I eat only memes, the imagined fruit of collective fascination and homelessness. My t-shirt says, alcohol you later, and my teeth are made of Adderall. I'm a mutation of accelerationism. I own no property that isn't halfway intellectual. I care about the spreading wide. Imagining commodibodies is as easy as staring at another, seeing their recognition of you. The smog is risen, signaling the incineration of incarceralized ideas that metatarsalize to the point of calcium ridges on the fingernails of your neighbor. I am taking on matter, becoming the glory of a black hole. I'm looking for a new language, one that knows repair, considers the otherwise, invents me now. This next poem is called Peter Bogart Appears in My Dreams Sometimes. And Peter Bogart is like he used to be a producer of movies and stuff like Con Air and stuff like that. So Peter Bogart appears in my dreams sometimes, except I don't know what he looks like. I feel a smogginess on my neck. I wake up angry. I don't know what he looks like because he looks like everyone. Pauline and Peter, I call him. Mother and daughter bodies seething under the wetness of wish, which isn't a pining, but instead a pain, a taking, a motherfucking confiscation, confession of pilfer. I need a pill for forgetting a memory that is not mine because I wake up angry. The fleeting fury of interference is crushing in its casual detonation. Breath is conned out of you, replaced by antiquated color, the infinite feeling of being used. I am incapable of not being angry. Getting over something implies that you are currently under it. Mother and daughter bodies will not be under faceless man. Bestowed with the vex of infodemic madness, mother and daughter bodies crash into each other, mix into one massive moment, stolen from everyone but themselves. This next poem is called Today It All Fell Apart, Nothing Makes Sense, the Things I'm Alone With. All I like is to get drunk and be in love. And if you know who I stole this from, you're either a lesbian or a nerd. When I stopped starving, I could be a little in love with myself. The collective fat in the air looked at me and said, she's kind of pretty when she has a little bit of ass. And it swarmed me and made me warm. With my newfound warmness, I felt the need to go out, show it off, be a magnet. Got drunk and went to a jazz club because my best friend plays jazz. Everyone around me looked warmer than anyone I had ever been around before. Ordered fried oysters, considered the lobster, which was dumb. I actually wanted heaps of throbbing bread to soak up the hard knots in my stomach, the coiled pits of chance. I like to think my existence is extremely separate from my body. Soon my body will be the propeller that catches the siren song, the thing that murders mermaids, the thing that's always a she in movies because no man can tread blood for so long. But I, actual me, The existence that isn't a part of my body, apart from my body, lives somewhere more important, will be heavier and heavier with lobster, bread, time. I can be a little in love with the people who confirm delusions. I can be drunk with the people who can't swim out of their own lungs. All I like is to get wasted and be a waste of time. I am alone with myself in so many ways that I don't even feel alone anymore. This next poem is called, Do You Think Aristotle's Mom Would Have a Bumper Sticker Like This? And then next to that title is a picture of one of those bumper stickers that is proud parent of a scholar, the National Society of High School Scholars. I don't know if that's like a thing or if that was like more of a Florida thing. I grew up in Florida, but yeah, that's the title of the poem. Do you think Aristotle's mom would have a bumper sticker like this? Do you think that something is natural because something is there? Feed fetishization feeds our collective fugue. Life isn't real if we can't feel it in our fingertips. Mobility was turned into a baby's toy to keep us distracted from crying. Mine was a stuffed solar system in bright colors. Mine was a mother with twin girls and 20 years of wanting. Paraplus plush toys told us our scale before we grew into it. Self-possession became my obsession. We name land based on inhabitants. In habit, I dance out of corners and into sunlight, crowned and cowering in my ginormous unimportance. The sun rises in Queens and sets in New Jersey, boiling geocentric cosmopolitans until they steam reconfigured history cauterized by mono-infected lithium used to treat the brain, now treats the brain's storm. A little girl's red coat in a black and white film. Monuments trick us into thinking it's okay to forget. And then I'll just read one more, which is called One of My Mothers is Kind. One of my mothers is kind. One of my mothers is scared of lightning and tornadoes. One of my mothers wanted me so badly, she gouged 4 eggs out of a hollow stomach and swallowed them all quickly in succession, hoping that all 4 would stick and metastasize so she could rear an army of daughters to fight against the army she knew would come for her daughters. One of my mothers got cancer. One of my mothers fucking died. One of my mothers can't spell. One of my mothers hates to clean. Actually, all of my mothers hate to clean. One of my mothers wore a star and another one became a star. One of my mothers donated 11 prosthetic legs to Goodwill from the grave. One of my mothers is begging me to have kids of my own, and all of the other mothers signed the card she mailed, and none of them know what will happen, but all of them know what should. One of my mothers has my face, or rather, I have one face from each of my mothers. One of my mothers told me it's not my fault to know things. She knows lungs will be needed for something else. It's not her fault that she knows Mama Earth had a plan for all the mothers. It's not her fault her body was wanted. And wanting is always parallel to needing because the experience of having what you want and having what you need both cast premature shadows on reception. Breathing differently would be dying unless faultlessness turned into a respirator. Occupying a space is not being a space. How long until capital nostalgia demands that you miss me, miss my real hand-me-down clothes, even though it'll be a fake kind of grief and somehow you'll find a way to make money off of it. You can blow me up just so you can clean the machine procedure that blows up young women. Mama Earth told me it's got to be done. Mama Earth can claim us all, can't she? She can say that we all came out of her. Were we not all once inside of her? Occupying her space is not being her space. We don't occupy different spaces naturally. We are space stuff naturally. We scrub today of yesterday's gnats caught in the hair of structural problems drawn by the harm sayers, and we forget that cleaning blood from the floor is just mimicking bleach. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia, and thank you to all of our We All Feel Like It Kelly Writers House affiliated poets. Thank you. I hope that everyone will sign up for Writers House emails, and I hope we will all be together in Philadelphia at the Writers House soon, listening to amazing writers. Thank you to our readers, and thank you to our audience. Good night.